Hey guys, welcome to the channel and to our Facebook group. You guys are amazing, true blue fans, and I want you to continue supporting both the channel and our YouTube channel so that we can get more views and more blues on board. So, in case you don't know, my name is Steve, and the first question you're going to ask is, am I qualified to talk about City? Which is a great question, to be honest with you. Well, to be frank, I've supported the team for more than 50 years. Used to go to Main Road every week until I moved to America. And I bleed blue just like the rest of you. I care deeply about my team, and if we don't do well, it affects my whole week or maybe even my whole year. So, how do I feel after the derby? Well, to be honest with you guys, I feel pretty numb. I mean, I'm not as upset as I used to be when City lost. It could be because I'm getting older. But, Guardiola's got so much credit in the bank from all of us that it's very, very hard to turn on him or even be slightly negative. But, guys, I want you to know that the title of this video is Don't Turn City into Manchester United. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when Ferguson left about 10 years ago, they went straight into oblivion and they've been dropping deeper and deeper ever since. In fact, to be quite honest with you guys, they remind me a lot of where we used to be because the only match they really care about is the one where they're playing against us. It's not Liverpool or Arsenal that they want to play, it's City. And who can blame them? Because at the moment, or at least until this blip, we were on top of the world. We were looked at as, if not the world's greatest teams, certainly in the top two or three. What about Guardiola? Well, personally speaking, I want you to know, guys, I support him with all my heart. I know he's the right guy, and who am I to criticize him? I mean, I'm not. I haven't got his football brain, his football intelligence, his know how, his background. But there are a couple of questions I do have of Pep. And the first one, and the main one, is the size of the squad and his constant reluctance to actually add to it. Whenever he's been asked over the last few years whether they're looking to buy anyone, Guardiola's always quick to say, to be honest with you, I'm happy with the guys that I've got. I mean, how many times have we heard him say that? He keeps saying, I'm happy with the guys we've got. But this week, he trotted out something that we hadn't heard before, but we did suspect. He said the real problem here is the schedule. And by the way, we all agree with it, especially now we've got the Club World Cup added to the end of the season. So, Pep, do some math. If we've got more games, then instead of the small squad, how about adding another 6 players to it? Don't forget, we keep having record profits. And by the way, that's without counting the Alvarez sale. So my worry is I don't want our board to become like the Glazers, taking all the money out and plowing very little in, which I never see happening, by the way. But I am concerned that we haven't really gone out and spent any of the budget. It really, really concerns me. And by the way, a bigger squad would be a benefit to all of us. It would make the team more competitive, especially in training and match day. It makes room for injuries. And by the way, don't forget, we all laughed at Chelsea, but as crazy as it seems, look back now, they pretty much got the right idea. They're not worried about a couple of injuries. They could have 11 injuries and replace the entire team. Now, we don't have to go that far. But I do want to talk about some of our problem areas and see what your thoughts are, guys. So, first of all, let me be clear. I don't really want to talk about Edison. I don't want to talk about the goalies. I'm not a goalie expertise. I like Edison. I think he should stay in the team. But really, it's the defense that looks so weak, especially on those transitions, guys. And we all know that, especially since Walker's lost, so much of his speed. And I feel for the guy. He's been a wonderful servant to City, but let's be frank, he shouldn't be on the pitch at the moment. I mean, I don't know how we'd line up without him, but with him, to be honest with you, he's hazardous. He's more of a problem than a benefit. Guardiola, I want to talk about him. I'm sorry, guys, but I can never criticize that guy because for this season, to me, he's been player of the year. I know he's made a couple of small errors, but I am very reluctant to criticize that guy. I love him to death. Diaz, again, he is definitely the most dependable defender that we've got. And what a shot blocker that guy is. Love him to death. He should be the captain for City at the moment. Absolutely. Next up, Akanji. I love him too. I really do. But my feeling is he's not capable of filling a John Stones type of role in midfield. Great defender, although he had kind of been going through a bad time the last few weeks, but just not, I would just not put him next to the CDM. Ake. I freaking love Ake. You know, he had a couple of games where he was a little bit off, but he was just getting back to form and he was looking really good. And then, damn, he goes and gets injured again. Miss him. Really, really miss Ake. Great player. John Stones. What negative things can you ever say about John Stones? Nothing, apart from the fact he's too injury prone. And that makes him worse because he's a real crowd favourite and we all love the guy to death. And we see what he brings to the team. So the only thing I wish John Stones is speedy recovery and see him back on that pitch as soon as possible. But the midfield, this to me is the issue. Like most of us, we're all noting that most of our players, if not all of them, are over the age of 30. KDB still has it in small sections, and I love him, but you know what, bro? To me, time to go. End of the season will be perfect. Thank you for your service. We'll build you a fucking statue, KDB. We love you that much. But it's time to go. Gunda, Gunda, Gunda. Mr. Whippy, Mr. Softy, Mr. Ice Cream. It's time to go. It's time to move into coaching. We all know, brother. Your time has been and gone. You shouldn't have gone to Barca. You came back and you've lost it, and I don't think you'll get it back. But my big problem is the Prince, Phil fucking Foden. Where the hell has he gone to? What's happened to the dude? Where is he? He was a player of the year last year, and now he doesn't show up at all. Something's not right there. Bernardo. Love Bernardo, and he loves City. But to be honest with you, he's losing pace, and he's not the player that he was. And finally, because I'm going to put Nunez in the midfield, I actually like the guy. I'm not going to say anything bad about him. He's trying his heart out. I know it was a stupid penalty, but you know what? I support him. I like him, and I want to see him more on the field. But my big question for midfield is about Jack. Jack Grealish, why the fuck is he not playing central midfield? I got news for you. His defensive skills are better than most of the people in our back lines. He's a box-to-box player. He's never going to take the place of Rodri, but he does have skills that we don't have in the squad, and I'd like to see him in midfield. On to the forwards. Doku. I love him. Sorry, guys. I love him. I'm not going to say anything negative. He kind of reminds me of a switched-on Traore, and I think towards the end of this season, you're going to see that this guy is capable of some magic. Savio, to me, the jury's out. Tons of skills, tons and tons of skills, but lacking the end product. But give him time. He's only young. And now to our Nordic prince, Haaland. It's not his fault. Please don't keep blaming Haaland. He gets no service. There's no creativity to get him on the ball. So when he has a game where he's got 2 or 3 touches, hardly his fault. And no, I don't want to see him turn into a Harry and go back into midfield. I just don't. McAtee. Why the fuck are we not giving that guy a chance? We brought him all the way back from Sheffield United. Why aren't we using him, Pep? You love him. Get the guy on the pitch. He can't be any worse than what we're watching. Oscar Bob. Oscar. We all fucking love you, Oscar. We love you to death. But if we're relying on Oscar Bob to come back to save the season, we're in deep trouble, as much as I love him. But there is good news, because losing points may not be the end of the world. In fact, even if we miss out on Europe, it's not the end of the world, because it means that next season, while we're rebuilding, hopefully, we won't have the schedule that we've got. And we'll have the time to really work on the field to build another great team. And don't forget, guys, the January transfer window is always a problem area. Players always cost a lot more than they should do, and panic buys are not really what City is into, although we did make a purchase of a really good centre-half who should be playing for us right now instead of being in Saudi Arabia. So I know that it works. Guys, thank you for watching this video. I'd love to get your views below, what your thoughts are on what I think. Am I right? Am I wrong? Give me your individual thoughts. Okay? Thank you very much for watching, and City till we die.